And let's talk about LA because I know you're San Francisco 49ers, and I saw the hat swap to the San Francisco 49er lid looking very clean. They took on the LA Rams today, and unfortunately, LA got the best of them. Talk to me about this game. Matthew Stafford just looks dynamite. I mean, the guy, I don't know if he's ever going to leave this league because he seems to be playing the best football he ever has. I loved him here in Detroit, but you see new life in him in LA, and this team looks competitive as all get out 7-2 now with a huge win on the road against the 49ers. Talk to me about this game. And I'm going to switch it back to my Lions hat, my friend.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that, Mitch. I appreciate the support.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, you got to give Matthew Stafford a ton of credit. Another 4 touchdown game for him. He had another. He's leading the league in passing touchdowns right now. At his age, I think he's 39 right now. It's a testament to who he is. They lost Devontae Adams late in this game with what appeared to be a tight back. He looked like he was poised to go back in potentially if they needed him to, but Puka Nacua made some huge clutch plays down the stretch for this team. And you got to give them a ton of credit. The San Francisco 49ers defense just looked, I don't know what else to say about it. Uninspired is as kind as I can put it, as nice as I can put it. They were the only team to get a sack in this game, and it was a split between Kalia Davis and Keon White. I think Keon White looks like a good addition. When you get Nicholas John Bosa back, you get Fred Warner back, you potentially get another piece back, Mikael Williams back. I think he's going to fit in nicely, and he's going to look even better than he does now. I think that's a huge pickup for the future with the San Francisco 49ers. I thought Ben Barch looked good. I thought Spencer Buford Spencer Buford is playing really well next to Trent Williams. And I talked to Trent Williams before the first Rams game, and he told me how hard Spencer Buford had been working, how much confidence he had in him, how excited he was to see him back on the field and see him get an opportunity. And he's done a lot with his opportunity. The offensive line did not allow a sack today. That's one positive note. I'm trying to find some silver lining for the San Francisco 49ers fans. The offensive line didn't allow a sack against a very aggressive LA Rams front, very dynamic. The offense moved the ball really well. If it wasn't for, again, it's a game of inches. If it wasn't for a play here, a play there, there was a fumble by Juwan Jennings. There was a turnover on downs earlier in this game, and it allowed the Rams to get out into a lead that ended up being insurmountable. But I thought Mac Jones, again, played really good football. 33 of 39, 319 to 3 touchdowns and an interception that got tipped up. With him, it was a play he had to have. He had to let the ball go. It was a 4th down. He had to put the ball in harm's way, and Emmanuel Forbes made a great play on it. But I don't think it does anything to shake the confidence of Kyle Shanahan and him. And I think there is a little bit of a quarterback controversy. And I'm not even trying to be controversial. I love Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy is the guy in San Francisco. But there is something about a hot hand and guys playing, you know what I mean, and knocking off the rust. And there aren't many games where you feel comfortable saying, hey, this is a game we feel like we can knock the rust off. This is a game we put somebody in and knock the rust off. San Francisco 49ers are 6-4. And the NFC is as competitive as it's ever been. I mean, you look at the Bears are fighting. They're 5-3 right now, and they're finding ways to win. You look at the Eagles, 2 losses, only 2 losses. You look at the Seattle Seahawks in their own division, the Rams in their own division with only 2 losses. So it's starting to get to that time, even with the winning record, where it's desperation time, and the San Francisco 49ers are going to have to answer the call. The run game has been stagnant. Obviously, they were down for a lot of this game, so a lot of the onus was on Mac Jones. He missed a potential touchdown pass to Demarcus Robinson early actually late in the second half, like right before halftime. They were on a 2-minute drive, and he ran a post. Tom Brady made it apparent to everybody that nobody was above. It was a quarters beater. They had him. Mac missed it. He ended up throwing a completion to Juwan Jennings, but that was a missed opportunity that they had to have. But I don't know. I don't know what the 49ers are going to do. I think they could justify bringing Brock Purdy back just because the team lost, but it's not because Mac Jones didn't play good enough. And I think he's making himself a lot of money. I think there's a chance he has a big market for him next offseason. I think the Arizona Cardinals will call. The Jets will call. Depends on what happens in some of the other quarterback situations, but a number of guys would be calling for Mac Jones because he fits well in a number of these schemes. Um, and I'm looking forward to seeing that for him because he deserves it. He's been playing at a really high level, and he deserves a chance to start in this league, and he looks like a starting caliber player. George Kittle made a big impact today and fought all the way into the very end, and you can appreciate that. Um, but they got to find some help, and it's hard. It's hard. It's hard because there were a lot of open receivers this game, and it wasn't even on a play where it looked like they had Matthew Stafford corralled. Guys coming off guys late in the down, and Matthew finding them. They're coming off tight ends in the end zone and allowing Matthew Stafford to throw his 400th touchdown of his career, only the ninth quarterback to have done so in his career. But I don't know. I don't know what the answers are on defense. You can only bring so much pressure. You can only blitz. That's not an answer. And Matthew Stafford found guys just about every time the San Francisco 49ers blitzed in this game. So it's tough. It's tough because you don't necessarily have enough talent to go man to man and bring pressure like you want to. The guys you need to be out there are injured. Your best players are on injured reserve. And anytime that's the case, it's going to be tough on you. So. But the next the next three games are winnable games for the San Francisco 49ers, and then a bye week, a chance to reset. They play the Arizona Cardinals coming off a drubbing from the Seattle Seahawks. Then they play the Carolina Panthers, who've been playing better football, but San Francisco should be able to win that game. And then a Browns team that is going to be picking very high in the draft. So if they can get these three heading into the bye, they'll feel really good about themselves and feel really good going forward. So it feels like all is lost after a game like this, but it's not. It's not. You can go into the bye 9-4 and with a renewed energy and feeling like there's a chance for this team, even with all the debilitating injuries that this team has suffered. Um, so it's one game at a time from this question. From this point on.
No question about it. The one thing about the San Francisco 49ers, it's kind of reminds me of what the Detroit Lions went through last year with all the injuries on one side of the ball, specifically defensively for the Niners. They're going to have to outscore teams, and they're going to have to lean on their offense, and they're going to have to score in bunches if they have any hopes of winning this division and doing anything in the playoffs. There's no question about it. They have the offensive weapons to be able to do it. I don't know the standings of Brandon Ayuk. Obviously, if they can get past the bye week, bring him back, he adds an extra spark to that offense. But games like this are going to happen, especially against a high-profile quarterback and a high-profile offense like the LA Rams. Like you said, these next three games are very winnable. If they can go into the bye at 9-4, and who knows what's going to happen? The Rams and Seahawks play each other next week. Someone's going to take a loss. So I think this division's still open for them. They just have got to get hot offensively quick. But Richard, I want to talk a little bit more about the LA Rams before we leave this game. This NFC's very crowded right now. There's a lot of good teams in this NFC, and there's a lot of teams winning a lot of games. Where do you see LA stacking up against the rest of them? I know you love your Seattle Seahawks, but talk to me, man. You see Matthew Stafford playing his A game constantly, week in and week out. That's got to give you some pause going into next week against the Seattle Seahawks. And I guess we'll end up seeing what happens on the field. But these guys are contenders in my eyes. Do you see the same thing with LA Rams?
Yeah, they're definitely contenders. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But no, doesn't give me any pause at all. Not for the Seattle Seahawks fans. If I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan, I feel really good about my team going into this matchup. I feel really good about this defensive line. I feel really good about this defensive line. I feel good about how Sam Darnold's playing. I feel like we may have the best receiver in the National Football League right now in Jackson Smith and Jigba. I feel good about our depth at receiver, getting Rashid Shaheed involved next week, and even just the fear and the preparation that it takes when you have a guy with that kind of speed. The Rams are going to have to account for him. There are certain you're not going to play quarters. If you play quarters in the first quarter against the Seattle Seahawks, expect Rashid Shaheed to have his first touchdown early in that game. There were opportunities for the San Francisco 49ers to have it. I expect the Seattle Seahawks to expose those same traits and take advantage of it. So I think the Rams feel good. The Rams look really good. Stafford looks like the MVP of the league right now behind Jonathan Taylor. But I still think there's question marks on that defense. They're playing great, but to not get a sack against this San Francisco 49ers defense, offensive line that has given up a number of sacks this season should be a little troubling. We'll see how this game goes. You never know. Every game's a new experience this year. It's hard to predict anything. Every time you think you got a team pegged, they do something ridiculous to have you scratching your head, and that's every single team. You got the Indianapolis Colts. You feel like they're kings of the world. Then they turn the ball over 6 times against the Steelers and lose. You think the Seattle Seahawks, are the kings of the world. They have a shootout at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are a good team, but they lose. And then you have the Rams lose to an undermanned 49ers team, and they turn around and beat them this time, but they lost to them at home. That gives you pause. I feel like every team has had that kind of loss. The Buffalo Bills, there's a number of losses, but their loss today is the most troubling of the season, no question about it. It leaves you with a lot more questions than answers. So if there's anybody sitting there saying, I know who's going to make the Super Bowl this year, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, or it's the Buffalo Bills, or it's the Eagles, who lost to the Jackson Dart and the boys in New York not too long ago, then I don't think you know what you're talking about, because there's no predicting anything this year. The only thing predictable about this season is the unpredictability of it.